They have with a touchdown here on the first play of the second quarter. Dawson to boot it.
Question is, who is going to be a quarterback for North Carolina in this drive?
More bowl action coming up on CBS. Monday, the CarQuest Bowl. South Carolina and West Virginia. You'd love one more shot at the Mountaineers, wouldn't you?
0 for 4 against West Virginia in my years at Boston College. Don Nealon's done a fantastic job. I think they've won 6 out of their last 7 this year.
Yeah, they're hot coming into the bowl game, and we'll have that game for you Monday here on CBS.
Mike Thomas does have his helmet on and should be going back in the quarterback for North Carolina in this series.
Big kick through the end zone, and Thomas and the Tar Heels will start this series from the 20.
Tar Heels will have it first and 10 at their own 20-yard line.
There's Mike Thomas.
He had the hot hand early. It was good to see Jason get in the game, though. Stanisic has been such a big part of this turnaround at Carolina over the last 3 years. He deserved the opportunity to play, and maybe he hasn't seen his last of action today.
Mike Thomas is a junior and poised now to be the Tar Heel quarterback throughout the '95 season. Leon Johnson in the backfield. And they love his hands usually coming out of the backfield, but not this time.
Gets zone coverage and dumps it off to the back. Leon, they brag about his hand, and he does have fantastic hands. And he's just a great, tremendous athlete. This just gets away from him. The head goes upfield just before he decides to catch it and tuck it away. Took his eye off the ball at the last second.
Downfield. Barnes at the 40 and tackled at the 46. 26 yards to Octavius Barnes.
Absolutely no help in the middle of the field. Off the play action fake, the linebackers are up nice and tight. Octavius runs a good route and gets open on the in route. I mean, it's simple, easy football. Run the ball well and then go play action.
Barnes 3 catches for 50 yards. A freshman.
All the way around the field.
Mike Thomas does stand tall in the pocket, though. He has a real stable feet standing there to throw the football. At 6'3", he sees downfield very well. Of course, height isn't an issue in the pocket.
No, you don't want to hear it or talk about it. Thomas back to Barnes, who collared at the 45. That's another first down at the 43. Here's a guy that would like to double dip this weekend if he had the chance tomorrow. North Carolina in basketball plays UNC Wilmington, and Barnes could in fact end up suiting up for that game for Coach Dean Smith.
Yeah, they say he's an excellent defensive player. That you know, obviously because of football he doesn't have the opportunity to get his shot down too quickly, but great defensive basketball player.
First down, and Curtis Johnson for no gain. Barnes played JV, in fact, last year, JV basketball for Carolina. And, you know, with Pat Sullivan hobbled and out with a back injury on the #1 basketball team in the country, Barnes could contribute.
He's a tremendous all-around athlete. He was a quarterback in high school. He can throw the football on reverses. In fact, did against Duke for a touchdown.
He'll slip on the jersey 50 when he joins the basketball side. Movement on the left side of the football for Carolina.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have another lost parent with Bobby Orfanto Guajardo.
Byron Thomas lifted up just a little premature there.
I want to ask you, you were one time contemplating a little double dip at BC, weren't you?
Came back for my 5th year to finish up school after playing in the USFL.
Ball start.
Had an opportunity with Gary Williams as the head coach, who's now at the University of Maryland.
Second down.
And had a possibility of playing point guard. Donald Trump stepped in at the last minute, kind of vetoed it and said, no, you're under contract with me, you're not going to do that.
Second and 17 for the Tar Heels.
Second down for Carolina, 2nd and 16. Thomas back across the middle and deflected. He was going back to Barnes. Chris Carter on the coverage. May have gotten a fingertip on it.
Chris Carter playing free safety, sitting back in center field, has seen enough of this in-route stuff in front of him. Decides to really jump the route, comes flying up.
Chris Carter makes the play.
Good job pulling off the big hit. Little tap, both of them. I love seeing that, especially as a quarterback, obviously.
Hey, Watkins has a touchdown in this game. He wants to slap everybody around and have some fun now.
Yeah, give me another chance.
Third down play. And good yardage to the 34. William Henderson out of the backfield. He caught only one pass all season long. This one goes for 14 and about 2 yards shy of the first.
Mike Thomas, for a guy that we talk about throwing the ball down the field, he's going underneath quite a bit and shows very good touch on the ball in this pass. Just laid it over to the defender's head, dropped it in softly to a fullback who may not be too used to catching the ball.
They're going to go for it here, Doug, on 4th and short.
4th and short, and Leon is in the tailback. Leon Johnson.
4th and 2 from the Texas 35. Option time for Carolina. The pitch to Leon Johnson. First down for the Tar Heels.
Still a little indecisive on the option game with Mike.
Picks up 4 on the play. And the Tar Heel first
Mike
down.
takes it down the line, and he's looking for a crease. He had in his mind to tuck this ball up and to cut it upfield, but just couldn't find a crease. He gets strung out the real outside, wanted to get up in there, but instead the pitch to the outside. Obviously no defenders in this area. Leon goes north-south and makes sure he gets the first down.
From the 31, 12:20 to go, second quarter. Texas leads here, 14-7.
8-man front defensively. Texas.
Thomas burns Carolina's second timeout.
So, Ray, what do you think?
Well, they would never make my training table.
Why?
Because my guys would say to me, hey, Ray.
Jim Nance, Doug Flutie back in El Paso. North Carolina moving the football, looking to tie this game in the second quarter. 1st and 10, Tar Heels from the 31. Option to the right this time. Leon Johnson, open field. And about 9, he was challenged by Joey Ellis.
Joey Ellis did a nice job in the open field. That looked like it could have been a touchdown, and Leon usually makes people miss in the open field. Again, they're getting a secondary man involved in the front. This time from the weak side, the corner came with a weak side corner blitz. But he was no factor because the option game was run to the opposite side of the field.
North Carolina has really had a huge advantage in the second quarter this year. They gave up a touchdown, though, on the first play of this quarter. Fullback running the football, William Henderson down to the 10-yard line, and another first down. William Henderson, the senior from Chester, Virginia.
Texas said they were concerned about between the tackles. They wanted to stop the running game inside, make them pitch the ball, make North Carolina run the option and get outside, as opposed to allowing them to gain their yards between the tackles.
Leon Johnson. That time for about 2. Kyle Richardson came up to make the play. Got some help also from Tyson King, Tony Brackens.
Number 98, Tony Brackens combined to make
Kyle Richardson, just a true freshman, forced into action because of injuries this year. They really didn't want him to play, but they really had to, and they put him in, and he said absolutely no problem adopting. He never struggled from day one.
Comes from a football family, that's for sure. His father, Don, is the head football coach at Highland Park. Second down play. Again, little run. Through the run.
Their best blocker in the offense is their tight end, Greg Galan, and they've been lining him up flexed or moved out from the formation. And right now, he's not really a factor in the blocking game and the run game.
Third down for North Carolina. It is possible to pick up a first just inside of the 1-yard line. Third, and we'll call it 5. Leon Johnson, the tailback.
Okay, again, it's an 8-man front. Mike Johnson with the audible.
Thomas in trouble.
I'm sorry, Mike Thomas.
And brought down at the 8. Norman Watkins and Tony Brackens forced the play.
The last couple of times running the option, it's been really stretched out wide. Brackens jumps in quickly, closes it down, and Thomas doesn't even have an opportunity to pitch the ball.
So they'll try a field goal now with Pignetti. This will be a 25-yard boot from the right hash mark. He missed from 45 earlier in this game. This time for 25. The kick is good.
Very nearly getting blocked.
So with 9:57 remaining in the first half, Texas 14, North Carolina 10. Gary Darnell, the defensive coordinator, meeting with his squad. A squad that kept Carolina out of the end zone on that last possession. Tar Heels settling for a field goal. North Carolina. Henderson had a couple of big runs to help get them near the goal line.
Mike Thomas came right back in and let him do a scoring drive.
Mac Brown, whose brother Watson is the offensive coordinator at Oklahoma, and the Sooners lost last night in their bowl game to BYU.
They took it hard. They took it hard on the chin. BYU lit up the scoreboard.
Scott Caparelli will kick for Carolina.
Did Mom make the trip back from that game?
She did. She's doing the old Texas shuttle and is here today. Here's Curtis Jackson on the run back. Down at the 35. What timing you have, Doug? Let's go right now to Andrea Joyce.
Well, Jim, funny you should ask. We found her as soon as you said so. Catherine Brown, you think you're having a tough time keeping track of the Bulls. Consider her plight. The mother of Mac Brown, also of Watson Brown. She's been shuttling back and forth between El Paso and Tucson, to see her son Watson, the offensive coordinator at Oklahoma. A couple of grown kids, they sure do have you hopping these days, right?
Oh, it's been that way for a long time. I haven't missed many of their games.
What advice do you give your sons before big games like this one?
You don't. You just wish them well.
You're just there to support him. Now, you talked to Watson. You saw him this week. What's his mood like these days? His future up in the air with Howard Schnellenberger taking over as head coach at Oklahoma?
Yes, it's confusing, but he has some options, and that's wonderful.
Are you going to try to encourage him to get a little closer to home?
Oh, of course. Of course.
All right, back to you guys. Bowling with the Browns could be a new drama series, Jim.
Absolutely. Thank you, Andrea. Juan Kemp came in to make that catch.
Fuzzy Lee made a really nice play reacting up off the corner there. In fact, if James had held on the ball a fraction of a second, he might have had a shot at the Bell Pickney up the sideline.
2nd and 5. Priest Holmes inside of the 50 and down at the 45 of North Carolina. Some fancy footwork in this game by Priest Holmes. Another 14 yards on this one.
Backside guys pulling on the counter, they get the corner for the back. There's just too much open space for Mike Morton to make the tackle on Priest Holmes.
Priest Holmes now with 6 carries for 50 yards.
He's got some quick feet.
Boy, that play really displayed just that from the 45 of the Tar Heels. Right side, open man, Pinkney, brought down at the 26, a gain of 19. LaBelle Pinckney, what a target. 6'5", 245, a wide receiver with 4.4 speed.
James loves throwing the ball to LaBelle. He says, hey, it doesn't matter if he's covered. I'm going to throw it up and let him go get it. On this particular play, he held on to the ball a fraction of a second long, allowed it to develop, and LaBelle was wide open.
Pinckney out of Washington, D.C. His high school coach has come to watch him play today. If he stays for his senior year, he has a chance to break all of the receiving records at Texas. He has set up Texas now for another scoring opportunity at the 26. Great protection to the end zone. Brown's pass batted down. James Hamilton, the rover, made the play. Pass intended for Priest Holmes.
Tell you what, if he lays it out there, he has a chance. The ball gets a little too flat. If he can lay it up and over the top, he would have had a better opportunity. Nice defensive play.
James Hamilton.
LaBelle Pinckney was waving his arms there, sliding towards the post. He had a legitimate opportunity going down the middle of the field.
Hamilton, who made that play, another one of the players out of Hamlet, North Carolina, for the Tar Heels. Sterling effort that time. Second and 10. Rod Walker. Walker gets beat up for a 1-yard gain. Kerry Mock hit him first. The left tackle for Texas, Blake Brockermeyer, a junior from Fort Worth, has not allowed a sack in the last 15 games. Check him out on this running play.
He is a force. He's the bulk of their offensive line. He makes it happen for him. Projected first-round draft choice. He did petition the NFL to see where he would go in the draft and see what opportunities he has this year. He may come out a year early.
The report back from the league was very encouraging and one that will make you think he will go pro here after his junior year. Third down, Brown goes back to the end zone. Pinckney over the head of Pinckney, but a flag is thrown on Omar Brown.
Omar made a good decision. He was beat. He reached at the last second to try to trip Pinckney up. Pinckney made a good move to the post, went out to the corner route. Ball was well thrown, but because Omar got a hand on him and tripped him up, he just couldn't quite get to the ball. Take the penalty instead of giving up the touchdown.
Pass interference on the defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
He's a big even if he is covered on the play, throw the ball up and let him go get it. There's a pull on the jersey, a little trip on the ankle, and he just quite can't get to the ball. Again, they were attacking the nickel back in that situation. That was Omar Brown, who comes in the game as the 5th DB, and they went right at him.
College football, they marked that penalty off from the line of scrimmage. 15 yards, sets up Texas at the 9 with Rod Walker on the pitch. Walker to the 5-yard line.
Roderick Walter carrying from the 5-yard line.
Tackled by Riddick Parker.
Number 38, Eric Thomas.
John Makovic was talking about perception-wise the enormous difference between 8-4 going into the offseason versus 7-5, which rides on this game.
Big difference for the program. They won 10 ball games a year ago. They feel they should be right there every year now.
Walker, right side, and shy of the goal line.
I'm sorry, that was not, that's North Carolina we're talking about. We're talking about the perception of Texas football and going into this bowl game of how they can build this program. You know, originally when they went down, they were talking about the demise of the defensive line when the team was starting to slide a little bit. And now that their defensive line is back, they feel like they're going to be top 10 program again.
See the call here. 3rd and goal from the 1. 2 tight ends, Bradley and Fitzgerald. Brown to the end zone. Pass incomplete. Priest Holmes was popped right when the ball reached his arms.
The play happened just too quick. James Brown was too excited. He wanted to get the ball to him right now. Priest Holmes was open in the flat, but he couldn't get the ball to him quick enough. He couldn't get it out of his hands. Fuzzy Lee comes in hard with the big hit. James is upset because he knows he was open, but he couldn't get rid of the ball quick enough. If Priest had maybe taken it upfield another step before breaking, it would have been an easy touchdown.
Well, the crowd is roaring now. Texas will go for it on 4th and goal. with Lucas on a wing. Priest Holmes into the end zone. Touchdown, Texas.
Through the defensive line, for the defensive line in North Carolina, almost had an opportunity to Priest in the backfield, couldn't get to him. The quick feed of Priest Holmes gets himself outside right there. Mock almost makes the play, can't quite get there. Great effort to get into the end zone, turned it up north-south, was not to be denied.
Holmes' second touchdown of this game, and Dawson to try the extra point. Good again. 41 out of 41 on the season. Priest Holmes and the Longhorns have taken a 21-10 lead.
Then they pulled the people around. No, they ain't come back. They ain't come back. It was outside.
21-10 Texas. And the scoring drive that time, 9 plays, 64 yards. Bevo says, let the stampede continue.
Bevo's not smiling, though. Be happy. Smile.
Pretty serious-minded about his football. Wait till the end of the game.
It's too early. I was going to say, it's too early to smile.
Wait till you see the smile he'll break out with if they win this game.
North Carolina has to answer a score here. They have to come back and get some points on the board.
Marcus Wall, will he run it back? Yes, from 4 yards deep. Wall to the 15, bouncing around. Oh, he almost got the corner, and then dragged down by Robert Crenshaw.
Got a late flag there. I don't know if it was for celebrating or what.
Line.
For a fleeting second there, I thought he might get the corner, and he could be dangerous.
Bad field position. Oh, okay. Going the other way with it. Good field position for North Carolina. I'll tell you, for a small guy, he puts a lot of effort. He just he's flashy, jumping, diving, going, running, spins out of it. Doesn't quite pull away. Hog time.
Dead ball. Clip on the kicking team. 15-yard penalty. First down.
That's the most unusual penalty. Clip against the kicking team.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
Curtis Johnson, tailback on this series for North Carolina. Thomas on the run to Wall, catch made at the 40.
That is a tremendous throw.
How hard is that throw?
Oh, continuing to step forward into the hit, and at the last second changed his mind from throwing the curl route to throwing to the outside receiver. And while he's being stuck, moving full speed, moving forward, takes the big hit from Watkins. Boom! And he still gets the ball there. You got to have a strong arm to do that.
Tony Brackens goes to the sidelines, a little nicked on that play. The sophomore, who is the consensus All-Southwest Conference player. Second down and 4. Curtis Johnson smothered near the first down. I believe he has the first down yardage. Chris Akins had a bear hug on him.
They ran the ball right to where Brackens was. Oh, he's right back in there.
That's enough for a first down.
They did pick up a good chunk of yardage there.
Tremaine Brown on defense now for Texas, number 34. He's come in. 5:23 to go in the first half. Texas 21-10. Thomas. Oh, was that play covered by Texas? Joey Ellis and Norman Watkins.
Bad decision on Thomas's play. This again is that double screen they run. They run a little slip screen with the back to the flat. It's not there. Watkins pulls off, and so does Joey Ellis. You got to pull that ball down, turn back, and throw the middle screen to the wide receiver on the backside, which is Octavius Barnes.
Joey Ellis, Gary Darnell, the defensive coordinator, told us, famous for his fireside chats with the defense. Real leader of that defensive bunch. 2nd and 14. Thomas fires it. Wall makes the catch. And still well short of the first down. It'll be 3rd and about 7. Bryant Westbrook made the hit on that play.
Big part of their defense early in the year. He had 2 big interceptions in one ball game and then turns around, gets banged up, and they're happy to have him back on the field. I don't believe he started the ball game, but now he's back in there getting some serious playing time.
Yeah, he's in for the starter, Taji Allen. 3rd down 7 with 4 minutes remaining first half. Draw. Johnson, nowhere. Maybe a yard. They tried to fool the middle, the defensive tackles, Brackens and Baskin, but no way, they say, and Darnell's defensive team forces him to punt. And Mike Thomas will boot the ball for the Tar Heels. Averaged 39 yards a kick this season. 1 was blocked. Fair catch called by Carter. And made at the 19. Call it the 20. 3:14 remaining in the second quarter. Texas behind 2 touchdown runs by Priest Holmes and a score by the defense, leads by 11.
Back at the Sun Bowl, Texas leading North Carolina 21-10. Hi, everyone. I'm Andrea Joyce. Coming up at halftime, we'll update you on the latest sports news. We'll examine the #1 question in college football. How do you determine who's #1? And we'll have a reading from the poet laureate of the Longhorns, Stoney Clark. But right now, let's get back to the game, and here's Jim and Doug.
Thank you, Andrea. We'll look forward to that. Stoney Clark, quite a character, and unfortunately injured and out of this game. But he made a big tackle, one of the biggest tackles of the season, college football. Against Oklahoma, it was. James Brown's handoff goes right back to Priest Holmes, and he gallops to the 32 for 12 yards.
Here comes Texas again. They've scored 110 points in the last 2 games, and they're on that same pace with 21 points with 3 minutes to go in the half. They get 1 more score. North Carolina's going to have to start throwing the football.
Seems North Carolina lost a lot of its momentum when they made the change at quarterback.
They really did, and I'm all for getting Jason in the game, and I agreed with that decision, but right now it looks like that kind of slowed them down a little bit and took some of the pep out of their offense.
Brown to Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald in the open field sidesteps a defender who is down, and a gain of 16. That's Terry Billups having a hard time getting up. They had twisted a knee trying to stop the big fella running that time.
Up until that catch, first 6 completions for James Brown with the 6 different receivers. He's very comfortable throwing the ball all over the field.
2:41 remaining in the half. Texas has all 3 of its timeouts remaining. North Carolina with 1 left. Intercepted for the 2nd time by Eddie Mason.
Great play by Mason. I don't know if he was fooled by the play action and then reacted late, but he was caught up in the line of scrimmage and reacted to get back out of it. Got his hands on the football. There's no way James Brown could have seen him. No way. He's coming from the right of the screen. He's on the edge. He starts upfield, sees the back, reacts to the play beautifully.
Second and 10. Texas with 6 receivers now.
Lone polecat. Oh.
Yep. They pull the tackles and set them out wide.
We were forewarned about that.
Carolina called a timeout just in time. They use their final timeout. A little trickery up the sleeve of Coach John Makovic.
Little trick play. They took both tackles and lined them up wide with the ends. They're setting up a double screen wherever the reaction is from the North Carolina defense. North Carolina is not reacting to the formation, and they would have been out there all by themselves. It would have been a big play. Well, they said they had 90 plays and they were going to use them all. This obviously was one of those 90s. Those 90, and we've seen a reverse. We've seen what he called the lone polecat, and I'm sure there's a couple more wrinkles yet to be shown.
Pretty alert, though, of the Carolina defense to put a halt to that play.
They did put a halt to it, but they have used all 3 timeouts now.
Well, women's volleyball championship action tomorrow on CBS, 3 o'clock Eastern Time, UCLA and Stanford.
Just the fact that they lined up in that formation and were trying to run the play. Texas is loose and aggressive, and that's the way you have to be going into these games. The outside.
Brown's pass should have been picked. Standing back there, Sean Boyd read that one all the way.
Curtis Jackson made an out-and-up move on the outside and burned the corner, but he had help over the top. In this situation, the quarterback has to hold on to the ball a little longer. He's looking in one direction because of the pump fake and allows the safety to come over and make the play. Curtis caught 2 touchdown passes against Baylor on the same exact play.
You said this week that you like the way James Brown can pump fake. He's full of defense. In
the last 2 ball games, there were 4 different touchdown passes that were off of pump fakes.
Well, he faces here the James Brown, 3rd and 10 with 2:30 to go. Looks like a quarterback draw. Brown only about 2 yards, stopping the clock with 2:25.
What was that footwork? Did you see? I'll tell you what.
I thought he might pull a fluke.
This will give coaches a heart attack. First of all, the ball's in the hand, being held loosely. The jitterbug steps, looking to get outside, wants to circle back, decides not to. He's going to backpedal out of bounds. But like I said, he's free and easy and relaxed out on the field. He hasn't made any big mistakes. He had the 1 ball batted for an interception. But as long as you can avoid making turnovers and continue to play that way, he's going to make some big plays.
Ball is fumbled. Bassett's punt. Let's see. Did Wall regain it? Yes. So North Carolina will have the football in the final 2 minutes and change to go here before halftime.
Anytime a punt returner gets run by very closely, I mean, it was 10 yards before he got to the ball, but again, a defender just nearly brushed him running by him, and that disturbs the punt returner. And it ended up with him bobbling the ball, dropping it, but fortunately recovering the ball himself.
Well, Carolina out of timeouts, but trailing 21-10. 2 minutes, plenty of time for Mike Thomas. Leon Johnson, the tailback. And they'll run with Johnson. Johnson hit by Kevin Watler. But he didn't go down easy. Kevin Watler, number 47 for Texas in his 6th season for the Longhorns.
He's been around. He's had a lot of injury problems, been banged up. He's finally healthy and gets the opportunity to play. They love his athletic ability. 6
seasons, folks, because you redshirt 1 year. Another year you get back because of a medical exemption. Loves the game of college football. He's completed his college degree. There's the pass in the open flat and out of bounds, William Henderson. And a late flag, a late hit. I believe on Tyson King. And that's going to be a big one. That'll move the football into Texas territory.
They're going to be cross midfield. There's still 1:40 to go. Even though they have no timeouts, the clock stops on 1st down, so there is plenty of time for North Carolina to move the football. On the replay, just a little bit late. His feet are out of bounds, and he finishes the hit. It's a good call. It was close as the linebacker is being very aggressive, but it is a good call.
So that'll advance the football to the Longhorns 43 with 1:42 remaining in the half.
They still have time to mix in the run. They're across midfield, plenty of time. They can still mix run and pass. They don't just have to go to a 2-minute situation.
Screen pass set up for Leon Johnson, who looked for the sidelines and was brought down short of it at the 39.
With no timeouts left, you still have time to go down the middle of the field as long as you're making first downs. When you make first downs, the clock stops, they reset the ball, and then start the clock.
1:18 to go. Thomas in the pocket. Pass caught by Henderson. He should have gotten out of bounds that time.
It was too easy. He should have just stepped out of bounds at the end of the run.
Picked up 20 yards. And he was just a few feet from being out of bounds. So they will stop the clock, though, to move the chains.
We're stopped with 1:11, and they're just going to restart the clock. Mike's got the play called already. He might have wasted 2 seconds, 3 seconds.
From the 19. Middle. Barnes, ball in the air, incomplete. He was walloped, too.
He took a shot. He was dragging across the backside from right to left, and there was no underneath coverage. He had plenty of room to stick the ball in, but Carter is reacting to this now. Early in the game, they caught a couple of balls over the middle. Chris Carter is now being more and more aggressive and coming up and making the big hit. It might be time to take a look to the in route and throw a post over the top.
It was almost a reception and a fumble, but incomplete. The call. Chris Carter and Joey Ellis were the two who popped them. And Norman Watkins was a little shaken up on that play and is removed from the lineup. .104 remaining in the half. Watkins sitting out this play. Looks like he's ready to get back in after this one. 2nd and 10. They run it. They try to surprise Texas. Leon Johnson. What an effort to pick up about 10, and they may have to measure for a first.
It's a nice call, but the clock is running, and they did not get the first down.
Now he's about a half yard shy. 3rd and less than a yard. 45 seconds clock running. And Henderson plows ahead. That'll stop it. Again, in college football.
The clock stops, so there's no problem in running the ball in short yardage. However, you've got to hustle now. Get the play called, Mike. Get the play called, get set. When they wind the clock, the ball will be snapped.
39 seconds to go. No timeouts for the Tar Heels from the 8.
I don't like that.
That was... why was that necessary?
It really isn't. It's only necessary if you have specific plays that you want to get to and your quarterback's unsure about calling them himself. In this situation, they'd had the first down. The clock was stopped. There was plenty of time to get a play called. When they wind the clock, snap the football, we're off and running. Now you wasted a down. They will still get all 4 downs in. If it was a situation where there were 10 seconds left, maybe do that.
35 seconds. Thomas looking in zone, firing in zone, caught in the end zone, touchdown, Marcus Wall. They drive 74 yards in less than 2 minutes without benefit of a timeout and score a critical touchdown before the intermission.
Texas was trying to get the timeout on defense. They wanted to stop and realign, maybe even change personnel, but didn't get it done in time, and Marcus makes another big play for a touchdown.
Vignetti good on the extra point. Marcus Wall, who scored a North Carolina record 9 touchdown passes this season, catches one here in the Sun Bowl.
Great patience by Mike Thomas, standing, waiting, great protection. Waited, laid it up and over the top. Getting excited, getting a little fired up. They needed that score before the half. 28 seconds to go in the half to cut the lead down to 4 points.
Changes the feel of this game for sure. Marcus Wall, 10th touchdown on the season.
That's a genuine celebration. He's excited. He doesn't know what direction to run in, who to grab, who to hug. Those are the type of celebrations I like to see.
Wall also ran one on a reverse for a touchdown this year and returned a kick. So 12 in all for Marcus Wall, the junior from Fayetteville, North Carolina. And Mike Thomas in this first half, 15 out of 19, 168 yards, and that touchdown pass.
Looked more like he ran a corner route on the play, and it looked almost like a pick play off of Taji Allen. Taji got caught up, and the ball got up over the top, and he lost a few steps on him. So that's offensively, we call it a rub. Defensively, they call it a pick.
8-yard touchdown pass for Mike Thomas to Marcus Wall.
Jim Nance and Doug Flutie coming your way from El Paso. Andrea Joyce will be joining us at halftime. Pepperelli, the kick for the Tar Heels. And this one angled short and to the right side. Rod Walker to the 30-yard line. 22 seconds to go in the half. Do you try anything fancy here?
I don't know. I would think not. Maybe something safe like a screen or a draw. If you bust one out near midfield, then you can be aggressive and go after it. Knowing James Brown and the way he is, though, the problem that comes in is if you throw the interception or make the mistake here, and the chances of scoring are not real good. But James is a big play guy. You never know.
Got a big target like Lavelle Pinckney, and you can just throw it up high in the air for him.
If you want to do that, send someone downfield, throw it 60 yards. If it's intercepted, it's a punt. So that would be the other option. Going with the screen to the field.
No Texas player on that side.
Roderick Walker got tackled on the play, and they were trying to run a screen to the wide side of the field. He got tackled by a defensive end and never got out there. James did the smart thing and threw the ball away. Although you don't expect that from James. You expect him to pull that ball back under and look to run for 45 yards.
17 seconds to go in the second quarter. Texas 21, North Carolina 17. Brown has hit on only one of his last 6 passes.
Took a little too long there. He was waiting for the motion back. Eric Jackson, actually the wide receiver, coming in motion. A little miscommunication there. He was waiting and waiting, and Eric finally went in motion. He couldn't get the ball snapped in time.
Dead ball. False start. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
My mistake. Notice how I blame the receiver and not the quarterback.
They're never at fault, are they? John Makovic, a former quarterback at Wake Forest. See if they'll run the football and head to the locker room with the lead. As Priest Holmes wrestled down by Marcus Jones, and Texas will have the lead at halftime. Quite a first half of football.
Not bad, 21-17, a lot of points like we expected.
As exciting as expected. That's the end of the first half with the score. Texas 21, North Carolina 17. Andrea Joyce will be along with halftime activities after this message and a word from your local station.
CBS Sports presents the 1994 Sun Bowl. Today's